I'll try and make things as simple as possible. So, the body needs energy to make physical movements, right? Specifically, it uses a compound called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP for short. Now, ATP is always there. It's stored in our muscles and available to make movement. However, its storage is very limited. The longer the activity, if it's more than a few seconds, it requires even more ATP to be produced to fuel the movement. Now, there are three systems in the human body that can produce this ATP: ATP PCR, glycolytic system, and oxidative system. The first two are anaerobic and they don't require oxygen to function, and the last one, the oxidative system, as you can tell by the name, does require oxygen. So the first one, ATP-PCR, is meant for producing ATP for movements from 5 to 15 seconds. It produces energy quickly, but it is not in fact over a long duration. So this is the part of the phosphate system used in strength power movements in sports such as golf because of the quick swings. Let's see, jumps because like doing box jumps or jumping over hurdles, throwing like in shot put and using a racket, like for example in tennis. And by jumping over hurdles, I mean the action of jumping over the hurdle. So this ATP energy is stored in the muscle. The ATP is already there. This is used for, like, for example, also short sprints. This ATP will be enough to provide energy only for a few seconds, and after that, CPR, or creatine phosphate, will be needed to finish the activity and last out the last part of the action. However, PCR is also very limited, so altogether, ATP and PCR can't provide energy for any more than 15 seconds. This is used in the lifting of small weights, squats, push-ups, short sprints, all those short exercises that aren't that quick, take a couple of seconds, but aren't a constant strain of the muscle, right? But if the body demands more energy, it's a task for the glycolytic system. So this system relies on the rapid breakdown of carbs, it in itself being a stored form of glucose in the muscles and liver called glycogen. Glucose and glycogen come together to create ATP throughout the process of glycolysis. This process causes the muscle to become more acidic due to hydrogen particles and a substance called lactate, and it's what causes the burning sensation in the muscles from the sudden exercising. So this form of ATP supply lasts longer, around 1 to 2 minutes, and it will be used in things like short distance sprints due to a little more endurance. Now, if the activity requires even more ATP, it comes to the oxidative system now. It uses two complex processes, the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain, which I won't go into detail about, not my field, but together these produce ATP. However, this process creates less ATP, but it can last for a longer duration of time. It uses the breakdown of like carbs, proteins, and fats, which take time to break down, and therefore the system doesn't have time to create that much ATP. However, from what it's derived from, it the sources it uses to create the ATP from, it allows the ATP to last the human over a longer period of time. And this form is used in sports such as biking, endurance marathons, and things like that. Something that requires you to really strain your muscles for a while. For